watching First Up Philippines. We're less than 2 hours away from market open. Let's see how the local bourse performed Tuesday. The PSE main index breached the 7,700 level after rising 0.5%. The all-share index had more of a hop of 0.25%. Taking a look at the board leaders, Manila Broadcasting jumped 12%. Now, the board authorized the company to proceed with the purchase of 44.44% capital stock of Elizalde Hotels and Resorts. Semirara Mining rising 6.4%, biggest jump since August last year. It has bought back more than 400,000 shares under its buyback program. Big lagger, Da Vinci Capital. Look at that, a 10% drop after the Luciaco company hit its highest close Monday at 795. No news yet from this company on the big swings, but year to date, it is up 345%. For more on what's moving the market, let me bring back in Marvin Germo together with Reg and JP. So Marvin, we've reached 7,700 level. Are you seeing it further go up for the fourth quarter?
I think we have a resistance there. JP said it properly, that there's significant selling at that level. So if it breaks out though of 7.750, we can go back to 7.9 over the midterm. If we break out 7.9, we have a shot to go back at 8.1. But if we fail to break out of these levels and selling still expected, we will just retrace back to around 7,520, which is the strongest support as of this point.
And there has been quite a bit of selling pressure lately. We saw that for pretty much the whole month of September. How much of that do you think, Marvin, can we chalk up to, shall we say, global externalities, and how much of that is domestic?
All right, I think there's...
Actually, let's bring back that chart again. Foreign fund outflows. We'll see just how bad the numbers are looking at this stage.
6 straight weeks.
I think what's interesting there is a lot of foreigners are also trying to stay on the sidelines, waiting and seeing what's going to happen. And you said it properly that we're not the only market in Asia, that if they see predictability in Indonesia, Thailand, they'll probably go there because we have almost the same dynamics. But what's interesting about this is we've had a lot of selling in the past days. But if you put it into context also, we only dropped 6% from 8.1 to 7.5. Unlike in 2013, the market dropped from 7.4 to 5.8 in 1 month, 21% down where there was heavy selling. So why am I saying this? Probably there's a lot of selling, but there may be locals now also catching it and building the support for it. Can we go up without foreigners? I think we need foreign investors for markets to push higher. But what's nice is this, in spite of a lot of foreign selling, our local markets, they're protecting it as well.
I mean, the other resistance level I'm looking at, or just looking forward to, Marvin, is that when you started this descent, we actually hit 8,100, which is actually very, very close to that all-time high that we hit just last year. Also, how much of that is really just a recoil from hitting that 2-year high that we saw just a few months ago?
I think it's part of it. At the end of the day, investors' funds are there to make money, and the market's still relatively expensive at 8.1. So they're probably going to shift it to markets that are more predictable, markets that have more, that are relatively cheaper, that have a guaranteed potential, not guaranteed, but a greater potential of predictability over the next few months. So it's a combination of them taking off money off the table as well.
But also looking at externalities, are you also concerned about the U.S. elections? I mean, how the results coming from that, whether it's a Trump win or a Clinton win, is that going to have a big effect on how you're trading and how you're advising other traders as well?
I think every market in the world is also watching that. America, at the end of the day, is still the biggest economy, and the policies of each of the presidentiables will have a toll on how they would perceive trade, exports, and a lot of the business that's conducted there. Another thing that people are looking at, if you're an investor in the Philippines, is you have to see if whoever wins, what policies will affect the companies that they're invested on. Will it affect the BPO sector if Trump will win, who said that he wants to bring in more jobs to America, something like that.
Actually, I'm also worried that if Duterte continues this attack against the U.S., how Trump will actually react to those statements.
He's kind of a firebrand as well.
Exactly, because their policies actually are sort of synchronized. Because you have a Trump who's looking to be more of a protectionist and really keep, pull out all of these jobs from everywhere that they've outsourced. And then you have Duterte, who is turning his back on Washington. So actually, it makes sense in a very chaotic world.
It was really in a very convoluted way at that. But we're also seeing the peso under pressure. I mean, it breached 48, the 48 peso level, weakening again
all right.
as of yesterday. So how are you seeing this? Because it was a surprise when it hit 45 for some.
What
48 rather.
What I see in this is a lot of sentiment brought into it as well. If you look at the value that we have 85 billion US dollars as our gross internal reserves, which tells us how much of a buying power that the BSP can have should it want to protect the peso. And they actually disclosed that at 48, it's still acceptable levels for them. So what I'm seeing now from a technical standpoint, though, is once it broke out 48, it broke out from our 7-year, 8-year resistance. The thing about that is it could bring, should the US dollar be bullish even further, it can go up to 50 unless the BSP intervenes. And if it fails to hold 48, we can possibly go back to 47.5 over the short term.
Right, and just very quickly, speaking of the peso, we got to take a look at inflation data that's due out in just under 1 hour. We're looking at what? An estimate of 2.1%, which would still put us
within the range.
Exactly, which would still
least,
put us in the middle, well, within the target band of the BSP at between 2 to 4%, which is all right. And all sorts of institutions from the IMF to the ADB to the World Bank have all said, look, inflation in the Philippines remains benign. It is not something to be worried about over the next